to learning organization. Kinds of organizational learning: adaption learning, change learning, process learning. You can split the learning organization in two viewpoints. First, you have the viewpoint from the management perspective. The management perspective is the operative management. So you have a manager who is doing his job and he has field competence, so he knows about the special thing he is managing, and he has a function competence. This means he is able to run his team somehow. The second viewpoint is the viewpoint from the consulting side, and you can split things up into more details. You have a process. So if you want to implement change within your organization because your environment, for example, has changed and you have to adapt, you have first the problem analysis, then you need a solution proposal, what has to be done. Then you need a change plan, how are you going to do it? And then you have to implement this change. The blue area needs method competence. So you have to be able to analyze a problem. Astonishingly, different cultures have different ways how to approach a problem. So possibly if you can't sort out a problem, you can pull in somebody from a different nationality and see how they would approach the problem. The next point is the solution proposal. So you need the expertise in the field to actually propose a good solution. So this can be summarized under method competence. Then you have the red part of the process. So you have to come up with a change plan. How are you going to change things? And there you need the competence in change management. Here you need also the implementation competence. You have to know how are you going to get your company, your organization going. And this is also summarized in leadership and learning competence. So that's more or less the same like operative management, but here it's split up. And if you actually consult a management team, you would actually distinguish between these different fields of expertise. And some consulting companies actually only focus on the blue area and leave the red area to the existing management team, which can be quite problematic. Obstacles to learning: fear of uncertainty, patterns of action shaped by the past and routinized, ignorance, lack of problem awareness, distortion of reality through interest-based reinterpretation, isolation through group thinking, isolation through selective perception, lack of communication, thought blockade, one of the most common problems. The field of organizational development is based on the learning organization, in which people are at the center and are responsible for the development of the organization. This stands in clear contrast to leadership model. Organizational development is a concept for planning, initiating, and implementing change processes in social systems. Company and employee goals are to be brought into harmony. Company and employee goals should be brought into harmony. Those affected should shape the change process themselves. Those affected must determine the rules of change, striving for better quality of working life by facilitating individual development. Organizational development is characterized by a planned change in the behavior of the processes and structures of a system. The use of the results of social science research. A change in individual behavior patterns, structures, and cultures of organizations. A process in which the focus is not primarily on stability and security, but on change and innovation. Helping people to help themselves as a principle. Organizational models of meaning. Goal model. Organization plus human being as machine or means to achieve specific predetermined goals and tasks. Coalition model. Goal process formation is part of the organization. Survival model. Organization as a self-organizing organism that wants to survive in a hostile environment. Institutional model. Organization as part of a socio-economic field with social anchorage and legitimation. Progress model. Organization as a cultural or ideal-seeking system with a capacity for self-transaction. Strategic learning of the organization. Results-oriented. Formulation of goals. Identification of strengths and weaknesses. Opportunities and threats. Deciding on a strategy. Determining resources. Strategic learning of the organization. Process-oriented. Creating change energy. Accelerating or slowing down the pace of change. Designing networks of change. Involving opinion multipliers. Gaining buy-in from middle management. Emotional internalization of reorientation. Rewarding strategy-oriented behavior. Planning as a learning process. Strategy follows people, the right person leads to the right strategy. But this does not apply to the learning organization. The idea of strategic intent. Strategic intent is based on a drastic mismatch between resources and ambition and between ability and will. This is in clear contrast to Western organizations which tend to pursue strategic planning. Challenge of the strategic intent. Trim corporate mental forces for victory. Motivating employees by communicating the long-term intention. Ensure staying power and perseverance. Create space for individual community contributions. Create a climate for opportunity-oriented reinterpretation. Allocate resources consistently according to the strategic intention. Challenge of the strategic intent. Check the logic of one's own management initiative against the contribution to the fulfillment of the strategic intent. Set and reward milestones. Create a climate of quasi-crisis by consciously reinforcing early warning signals. Create personal competitive orientation for each employee through comprehensive research of the competition. Increase efficiency through training in problem solving and work methodology. Create measured challenge pressure by working through non-competing initiatives one after the other. Do not initiate the rules of the game, but change them through freedom for ingenuity and surprising improvisation. Contributions of management development to strategy development. Strategy as a learning process is based on three factors: communication, cohesion, and flexibility. Communication. Alternative information systems, communication channels, and informal organizational structures are developed. Development of circles, partnerships, and networks. Promotion of common language and socialization patterns to establish comparable frames of reference, goal orientations, and forms of cooperation. This should increase the ability to resolve conflicts. Participation of large parts of the management promotes understanding, acceptance, and commitment to the strategy. Flexibility. Business options that would otherwise not have been possible due to lack of availability of specialists or generalists can be pursued. Champions are available who have career experience, visibility, and sponsors, mentors to pool resources to pursue a new business idea with a minimum of resistance. Managers are developed who see learning, development, and change as the norm, enabling the organization to respond quickly and to create a broad field of action. Cohesion is the emotional glue in the management team. Collective socialization processes are set in motion. Subcultures are reduced. Homogeneous patterns of experience in training, rotation, and orientation programs. Contributions of the management philosophy. Recognizing patterns. Learning process manager. Finder and creator of strategy. Manager of stability through implementation rather than change through replanning. Intimate connoisseur of the business. Manager of a variety of patterns. Contributions at the operational level. Management of mobility patterns. Helping relationship. Qualification programs. Potential assessment. Requirement profiles. Thank you for watching.